So just imagine the burnout for a second. You spend your whole weekend coding a scraper, you've polished your tech stack, you paid for the API credits, and you wake up Monday morning, ready to just dominate.
Right.
You fire up the laptop and you send 450 cold emails. And you do that every single day. The open rates, they actually look fantastic. The automation is running perfectly.
But the bank account, absolute zero.
Today, we're looking at why volume is a massive trap for AI builders and the 7-day pivot that completely changed the trajectory for one developer.
It's the difference between high activity and high productivity. They are not the same thing.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026. I'm your host.
And I'm joining you to help parse the signal from the noise. Today, we are breaking down a really compelling guide by Max Ann from AI Fire. It dissects what he calls the trust map framework.
This is one of those pieces that just hits you right in the gut if you've ever tried to sell, any kind of service, but especially technical services.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the case study of a builder named Christian. He went from just spamming inboxes to closing a $1,500 deal in under a week. And we're going to break down that specific roadmap. Why technical skills like knowing your way around NaN or make don't equal sales.
Which is, that's a brutal realization for a lot of engineers.
Oh, absolutely. We'll also cover the mindset shift from product to pain, the specific mental blocks that stop us, and that step-by-step 7-day framework that Christian used.
And what I appreciate about this source material is it's not some abstract theory. It's a very specific tactical pivot that you can, actually use.
So let's unpack this. We have to start with the context because the market right now is just wild. The source mentions that 89% of small businesses are actively looking to leverage AI.
The demand is clearly there. It's not a secret anymore.
Exactly. But despite that, so many builders are struggling to sign a single client. And this brings us to the volume trap. Before Christian found success, he was following that standard playbook we all see on Twitter or LinkedIn, scraping leads, using automation tools, AI writers, and sending 450 cold emails a day.
That number is just staggering, 450 a day.
And here's the kicker. It looked productive. He had high open rates. He was getting some replies. But 0 clients.
It's the illusion of progress.
Oh.
See, when you look at those metrics, open rates, reply rates, you get a little dopamine hit. You think, I'm doing business. But fundamentally, Christian was stuck in what we call commodity positioning.
Okay, break that down to us. What does commodity positioning actually look like in the AI space?
Well, think about the inbox of a small business owner. When you send an email saying, I build AI automations, or, I can build you a workflow using the latest LLMs, you are positioning yourself as a commodity. You're a vendor.
Right.
And how do buyers evaluate commodities?
Price. It's got to be the lowest price.
Exactly. They compare you on price. If you're just another person offering automation, you sound like everyone else. You just become noise.
It's like, imagine being a generic vendor in a crowded space market versus being a specialist doctor who fixes one specific painful problem.
That's a great analogy. If you just annoy 450 people at scale, you aren't building a business. You're just scaling rejection.
Scaling rejection. That's a painful way to put it. But
I have to push back a little here. Isn't sales fundamentally a numbers game? If I send 450 emails, eventually someone has to need automation, right? Is volume really the enemy, or was his offer just bad?
That's a fair question. Volume works, but only after you have proof or reputation. It's an amplifier. If your foundation is, I'm a stranger with no track record, volume just tells more people that you're a stranger with no track record. You're amplifying the wrong signal.
So the tech might be sound, the automations could be brilliant, but the numbers game fails because the trust just isn't there to support that kind of volume.
Precisely. Without trust or differentiation, scale just amplifies your generic lack of credibility.
Okay, so Christian realizes this brute force attack isn't working. He needs to pivot. But, realizing the volume trap is only half the battle. The harder part, and where he really had to pivot, was completely changing his psychology. This is the critical turning point in the whole story.
He changed his pitch entirely. His old pitch was something like, I build AI templates, want one. It's very product first, Look at my code.
Here's my widget. Please buy my widget.
Exactly, his new pitch. I help businesses get time back. Tell me what's eating your time. That is problem first.
It's such a subtle shift, but it's a seismic one in psychology. The first pitch creates distance. It says, I am selling you something. The second pitch creates a conversation. It says, I want to be a partner in solving your problem.
It's moving from, look at my cool code to, where does it hurt?
Precisely. You stop being a vendor who's pushing workflows and you become a problem solver. And in the early stages of any service business, conversation beats demonstration every single time. You have to understand the pain before you can prescribe the medicine.
I think we overlook how much of this is just psychological. We think it's about the tech stack, but it's really about the human connection. I mean, is it really just about changing the wording, or is something deeper happening here?
It's an identity shift. It's stopping the sales pitch to start a genuine diagnostic conversation.
A diagnostic conversation, that's actually a huge relief because I hate selling. But if I can just view it as diagnosing, I don't feel like I'm trying to, trick someone out of their money.
That's the key. You aren't tricking anyone. You're helping them uncover an inefficiency.
But this is where the rubber meets the road. Because even if you get the logic, your brain fights you. You hit these mental blocks. And the source identifies 3 big ones that Christian faced.
Oh, they are universal. I think we all face these.
The first one is imposter syndrome. That little voice asking, who am I to charge for this? Or what if I mess it up? What if the API breaks?
And the fascinating solution the source offers here is radical transparency.
Yes. This part really surprised me. Christian didn't fake it till he made it. He told clients flat out, I'm new, but I'm obsessed with this and I'm building a lot.
It just disarms people. We are so used to the fake it till you make it culture, especially in tech. But when someone says, hey, I'm new, but I'm going to work harder than anyone else to solve this for you, that honesty actually signals confidence. Real transparency beats a polished script.
It really does. And I have to admit, even now, doing this show, researching these topics, I wrestle with that imposter feeling. Prompt drift happens or the AI hallucinates something. And I think, do I really know enough?
We all do. I guarantee you, even the top experts feel that.
So to hear that the solution isn't get more confident, but be more honest, it's so refreshing.
It takes all the pressure off. You aren't promising perfection. You're promising effort and obsession.
That kind of radical transparency is scary, though. You're basically admitting you might fail.
You are, but you're also admitting that you care enough to fix it if you do.
Okay, so once you get over the fear of being new, you run smack into the next wall, pricing paralysis.
The obsession with the retainer.
Beginners always want that $3,000 a month retainer before they've even done a single job.
It's like asking for a 5-star review before you've even served the food. Retainers are earned. They're built on a foundation of trust. You can't start the relationship there.
And finally, block number 3, fear of rejection.
This is all about how you process the no.
The source talks about a loop. Rejection leading to diagnosis, leading to adjustment.
And winners run that loop. They ask, okay, why didn't this land? Was my email too long? Was the idea too vague? Losers just blame the niche. They say, oh, real estate agents just don't get AI. No, your message just didn't connect.
So why is admitting you are new actually a sales tactic in this context?
It signals honesty, which builds immediate human trust that those slick expert scripts completely destroy.
It really cuts through the noise. Okay, so Christian has the right mindset. He's tackling his mental blocks. Now we get to the meat and potatoes, the 7-day framework.
The tactical execution, let's get into it.
Let's break this down day by day because the devil really is in the details here. Day 1 is set direction and the trust map.
And the first rule here is kind of counterintuitive. Don't over-niche.
Which goes against so much advice. You always hear, the riches are in the niches.
Eventually, yes. But on day 1, if you say, I serve independent optometry clinics in the Pacific Northwest, you've made your pool so small that you can't get any reps in. You don't have the case studies to back that up yet.
So what did Christian do instead?
He kept it simple. His premise was, I help small businesses save time. That's it. And then he built what the article calls the trust map.
This is the exercise. You open a spreadsheet, you list 20 people, friends, family, ex-colleagues, where your trust level is greater than 0.
People who will actually open your email and give you the time of day.
But let's be real, this is where people cringe. Listing your ex-boss or your cousin feels weird. Kind of like MLM stuff. Hey, want to buy some knives?
It feels that way if you approach it as selling. But remember that mindset shift. You're treating this group like a sandbox environment. You aren't selling, you're collecting data.
A sandbox environment. I like that. So you list these 20 people, then you create a mental menu of solvable problems. What does that actually look like? Are we listing chatbots and RAG pipelines?
No, absolutely not. That's technical jargon. You list problems in plain English. I can fix your messy Excel sheets. I can stop you from copy-pasting lead data all day. I can answer the same 5 questions you get in your inbox every day.
Okay, tangible annoyances. That brings us to days 2 and 3, the low-pressure conversations.
And the goal here is just to listen. That's it. You reach out to that list.
So what do you actually say? Because I feel like if I text my old manager, hey, what's annoying you at work? It's going to sound pretty bizarre.
You frame it around your journey, not their wallet. The script is something like, hey, I'm building some new automation tools and I'm just looking for some research. I'm not trying to sell anything. Can I just ask where things feel manual or annoying in your work right now?
Where do things feel annoying? I love that question. It's so low stakes.
You're hunting for friction. You want to hear their specific language. When they say, ugh, I hate copying data from this spreadsheet over to that CRM, boom, that's your product right there.
And if they don't have needs, you just ask for referrals. It's soft. It's safe.
It removes all the sales pressure from both sides of the table.
So why go to friends and family when you want to build a real business?
Because you need a safe sandbox to gather data on real-world pain points without sales pressure.
You're basically stress testing your offer in a local environment before you deploy it to production with cold leads. Mid-roll sponsor read placeholder. Okay, we're back. We've done the trust map, we've had the low-pressure conversations, now we hit the pivot point, days 4 and 5, the free pilot.
This is where you put your money where your mouth is, or rather, your time.
You pick the person from your list who had the clearest, most painful problem.
The one who's really venting about that spreadsheet, yeah.
And you make the offer. I'd love to build a small automation to tackle this as a free pilot. In return, all I'd ask for is some honest feedback.
Notice the trade. You are not working for free. You are trading your labor for feedback and, most importantly, proof.
And you build the simplest version that works. Not the Ferrari. You build the skateboard.
Exactly. Don't over-engineer it. Just solve the immediate pain.
Let's get specific here, though, because build an automation is pretty vague. What exactly did Christian build for this first client?
He built a project management assistant chatbot.
Okay, but what was the stack? I mean, did he build a full SaaS platform from scratch?
No, and that's the beauty of it. It was likely just a simple N8N workflow. It probably connected Slack to a task manager like Trello or Asana, using an OpenAI node to parse the text. It updates clients, logs tasks, handles FAQs.
So we're talking about maybe a few hours of work. A webhook here, an API call there.
Exactly. It's low code, but it's high impact. He didn't spend 3 months building a UI. He built a back-end workflow that solved the problem immediately.
Then comes day 6. Deliver and feedback. You walk them through it. And the source lists 3 specific questions you have to ask.
How does it feel? Does it solve the problem? And what would make it better?
How does it feel? That's such a good question for automation because usually the answer is just relief.
And that emotion, that feeling of relief, that's what you sell later.
Finally, day 7. Decide next steps. And the goal wasn't actually to close, right?
The goal was to find the logical next step. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a maintenance contract. You stay on to fix it and improve it. Maybe it's expansion. Hey, I noticed you also have this other annoying problem. Or if they don't have budget, you get a testimonial.
A testimonial that is worth its weight in gold when you finally do go to cold outreach.
Exactly.
But I have to play devil's advocate here. Isn't working for free on days 4 and 5 a really bad precedent for a business? Aren't you just devaluing yourself?
Not early on, because you are trading labor for the 2 things you lack, experience and proof.
So you're buying your resume, essentially.
That's a perfect way to view it. You are purchasing a case study with your time.
So, does this actually work? Let's look at segment 6, results and the loop.
This is the best part.
Christian landed his first client on day 5.
Day 5. I mean, that's insane.
He built that PM assistant, real utility, and the pay. $1,500 for the project, which later increased to $2,000 a month.
And remember, this whole thing started with a free pilot mindset. But because the value was so obvious, the money just followed immediately.
And then the domino effect kicked in. He posted about this win in a community and immediately got a second client.
Whoa. I mean, just stop and imagine that timeline for a second. You go from learning a skill to feeling like a total imposter to having 2 paying clients and going full-time in under 2 weeks.
It's incredible speed. But the source really emphasizes that this isn't a one-time trick, it's a loop.
Trust leads to value. Value leads to money. And then you just repeat it. You build the trust map again. You get more business peek down. You get more case studies.
Christian didn't wait for a job description. He just went out, found pain, and fixed it.
He stopped waiting for permission.
So what makes this approach sustainable long-term compared to, say, just going back to cold outreach?
You eventually graduate from those warm leads to cold outreach, but only once you have the proof to back it up.
So you do eventually send the cold emails, but now you're sending them with a loaded gun. You have the ammo.
You have the case study. The email says, I helped X do Y and saved them Z hours. That email gets opened.
So let's wrap this up with the big idea recap. The big takeaway here, it seems to me, is stop trying to sell automation to strangers.
Right. Build a trust map, find one person, solve one specific annoying problem for free, and then use that momentum to prove you aren't just another commodity coder.
It's the order of operations. Trust first, value second, money third. If you try to jump straight to money, you're going to trip.
Every single time.
So here's our challenge to you listening. If you are stuck in tutorial hell, and we know you are, we see you watching those YouTube videos, close the course. Open your contact list. Find one problem to solve this week.
And let us know if you do. We really want to hear about it.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Catch you next time.